fine leg for 4 runs. So as you said, reasonable start by the West Indies. They look pretty comfortable. That's Brathwaite, Craig Brathwaite, the captain. And like I just said, there doesn't seem to be any pace on the wicket.
And you referred to Jaydev Undakart, the left arm quick, playing just his third, this is his 4th match in fact. I think it's his 3rd match. I'm pretty sure he's played 2 matches already. But anyway, very early on in his career, he's going to be bowling left arm over the wicket to Chanderpaul from the river end of the ground here at Windsor Park. And just looking at the field that he's got here, Undakart, he is he's got a keeper, of course, 3 slips, a gully, a point, mid-off, mid-on, square leg and a long leg. So pretty standard field for these early stages of a test match. But yes, I mentioned Sebo, it's a very inexperienced bowling lineup for India. I think the most wickets any of them have.
I think Siraj is 51 or something.
He's 51.
51,
and
yeah.
The West Indies lowest is Joseph with 84, and they've got Gabriel on the bench. Here is Undakart, left arm over the wicket to Chanderpaul, and he just defends that one away up to Rohit at mid-off, and there's no run.
And Gabriel, as you said, Gabriel is on the bench. You have Jason Holder, that's got close to 150. You have Kemar Roach, who has past 250. And then you have also Azari Joseph, who in the last year has really been the West Indies' best seam bowler.
Yeah, it wasn't so long ago he took that great 5-wicket haul at Centurion in South Africa. Here's Undakart again. Up to the crease, past umpire Kettleborough, and Chanderpaul's defending that one away to point, and there's no run.
Pitch looks very slow so far, Andy. We haven't seen anything untoward happening. It looks to be a very slow pitch.
It was interesting. Rohit said in the in the lead up to this match, he was expecting there to be a lot of bounce. Didn't speak so much about pace, but he certainly talked about bounce. But yeah, it doesn't look especially lively so far. Just reminding you that West Indies won the toss and elected to bat. So a good toss to win by Craig Brathwaite, who's at the non-striker's end. As Chanderpaul faces another ball from Undakart, and he just defends that one away. Rohit jogs in and picks it up, and there's no run. I saw them out painting the ground, painting the advertising on the outfield just before play was starting. I was thinking, wow, they're cutting that fine, but I guess they had no chance to do it in the last couple of days.
Because of the amount of rain. In fact, like you said, yesterday, Andy, there was so much rain yesterday. A lot of rain.
They weren't far behind.
Could hardly do anything yesterday.
Here's Undakart once more. Bowling to Chanderpaul, and there's no run. Once again, played up to Rohit mid-off. So Undakart very much on line here, but Chanderpaul looking very solid in defence. A smattering of fans around the ground in the various stands.
Well, hopefully as the day we thought we should have a bigger crowd, Andy. We hope to have like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people today.
Yes, I heard on Mason and Guest last night that that one of the days is a sellout, so that's good news. Here's Undakart, and once more Chanderpaul's defending, but this time he's pushing it a bit more firmly into the offside, out into the covers. And there's time
to play for.
Time for 2 runs
in
there.
terms of getting points
and
for this World Test Championship.
Mark.
2 contrasting teams in the top of the table. West Indies on the other end. So I think West Indies.
Sorry, there we just got our wires crossed, so to speak.
But the technicians will have to look after that.
Here's Undakart to Chanderpaul, and that one's down the leg side. and he lets it go through to the keeper. That's the end of the second over here at Windsor Park. It's 8 without loss.
Yes, and as we have said, so far 2 overs have gone, nothing untoward happening. The pitch looks to be very slow. Both batsmen, having faced an over each, have looked very comfortable. The Simmers and Siraj, as we know, have been always aggressive. Every time you've seen him bowl for India, he's been an aggressive seam bowler. But the pitch now, there doesn't seem to be any pace. And I would think, Andy, that the bowlers now will be concentrating on bowling one side of the wicket, trying to get a good line and length just enough stump.
Yes, indeed. So here's Siraj starting his second over, bowling to Brathwaite, and he just defends that one away into the offside point, and there's no run. So no early terrors in the pitch. Just see that Virat Kohli's fielding at second slip, and he's actually the only survivor from the first ever test match played at this ground, Sivo.
I think 2011, yeah. I mean, it was a drawn game. I mean, Dhoni was the captain. You had people like Dravid, the coach, now was there. Laxman was there as well. So Kohli is the only survivor of that series.
Here's Siraj bowling to Brathwaite. He almost plays with that one, but at the very last minute takes his bat out of the way and it goes through the keeper and there's no run.
And the Indians seem to be using a new sponsor. I've noticed the Dream 11 now is on the shirt. I do not think that's the sponsor they had when they played in England recently.
Yeah,
so they seem to have a new sponsor.
Byju's was the previous
Right,
one.
Correct.
Of course, they got a lot of coverage, Byju's, from a pitch invader in England. Here's Siraj bowling to Brathwaite, and this time he's beaten outside the line of off stump. Goes through to Ishan Kishan, and there's no run.
Good.
There is actually another survivor, not the actual player, but the name. Shivnarine Chanderpaul played in that match.
Right. And now his son is not playing now for West Indies.
Great start to his career as well, hasn't he?
Did well in Australia.
Brilliant. Here's Siraj once more, fourth ball of this third over, and Brathwaite's defending that one into the gully region. And that's Rahane down there, fielded that one, and there's no run. Yeah, Kohli didn't have a great series that first series. I was looking at his record. He scored 76 runs in three matches. It's fair to say he's improved a bit since then.
That's an understatement.
Here's Siraj again. Oh, and Brathwaite's beaten once more, comprehensively that time. We've got a very good view of it here. We're slightly off centre, and you could see that Brathwaite hung his rod out there. He didn't hook anything, and yeah, well and truly beaten. A little bit of movement off the pitch there by Siraj, so some signs here that there could be something in it for the paceman. Here's Siraj, and this time Brathwaite lets no one go through the keeper. Umpire Michael Goff calls over. It's 8 without loss here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, very fine over from Mohammad Siraj. He concentrating on off stump. He got the ball to move away from Craig Brathwaite, beat him twice outside the off stump. And a very good over. Obviously, he's realized that there's no pace. Really trying to concentrate on movement outside the off stump. And I think it was an outstanding over from Mohammad Siraj. And 2 Yorkshiremen umpiring, I think, Andy, in Michael Goff and what's his name? The both umpires, Kettleborough.
Here's Undercut, and he's bowling to Chanderpaul, and once more it's down the leg side. Goes through to Ishan Kishan, and there's no run. Yes, this is Michael Goff's 44th test, Actually was born in Hartlepool in County Durham.
Oh, Durham, but okay. I think he played cricket for Yorkshire, I'm not sure.
He did,
Yeah, he played cricket for Yorkshire.
Great to see the former players really carrying on and giving back to cricket in the form of umpiring. Here's Undercut once more to Chanderpaul, and he's squared up from that open stance that he has. But I think he let that one go through the keeper. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. He's not quite as square on as his father was, though, is he?
In fact, his stance is better. I mean, his father's, looked towards mid-wicket when he stood to face the bowling. But he looks more side-on than his father.
Is he a little bit taller as well?
Yes, well, a little.
Here's Undercut once more, left arm over the wicket, and that's outside the line of off stump. Chanderpaul plays inside the line, so no danger of an edge there. Through to Ishan Kishan behind the stumps. He's making his test debut. Having played one-day cricket with India for a while now, scored a magnificent double 100 against Bangladesh, opening the batting. So I kind of feel that maybe with Rishbhar Pant not in the side at the moment, they've decided with Bharat not necessarily making such a great start with the bat to give Kishan a run, which we can talk a bit more about after this ball from Undercut, who's once more, his radar's off. It's down the leg side, and pretty bad spittle there by the man we're just talking about, Ishan Kishan, and it's a bye, so one further run to the total.
And Andy, I think Chanderpaul, Tagmaran's father, would have made 100 when India played there. I think 2011, I believe his father made 100.
He did indeed.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. He did indeed, yeah. Yeah, so that was an interesting match, heavily rain affected. But one thing I found a bit surprising when I was looking at the results see Craig Brathwaite's learning from Chanderpaul's dad how to mark his guard, knocking it in like a hammer, the bail into the ground. Yeah. But apart from that India match in 2011, the other 4 matches since then have all had results.
Yeah, well, Shane Shillingford took a number of wickets. I think it was against Bangladesh and Zimbabwe, and Australia as well.
Here's Undercut, first ball to Brathwaite this time, and he lets that one go through to the keeper, and there's no run. And Brathwaite not happy with the hole that he's dug there, marking his guard, so he takes the bail off again. Knocks it a little bit further into the ground. Can't see which guard he's actually taking, of course. Not totally in line here, but you'd have to say they haven't looked in too much danger so far, the West Indies batsmen, and India haven't quite got it right with the ball yet either. They've been a bit both sides of the wicket, although Siraj bowled very well in that previous over. So here's Undercut again, last ball of the 4th over. And Brathwaite's just defending the one up to mid-on where Rohit Sharma does the fielding, and there's no run. So 1 run off the over. It's 9 without loss here at Windsor Park.
Very quiet start by the West Indies. 4 overs, 9 runs. Obviously, Brathwaite and Chanderpaul, 2 batsmen who are really not aggressive batsmen. They're looking to occupy the crease as much as possible. So we're going to be in for a slow 2-hour session before lunch, Andy, I believe. I think West Indies, having won the toss, will be looking to bat throughout the day into tomorrow, because they're hoping that they can occupy the crease as much as possible, so which would help the spinners later in the match to get going. So I think Brathwaite and Chanderpaul obviously will be looking to just play every ball on its merit. The Indians, on the other hand, looking to pick up an early wicket and try and probably pick up 2 or 3 wickets before lunch.
Yeah, indeed. Here's Siraj over the wicket to the left-handed Chanderpaul, who's driving, not really driving, just easing that one up past on the offside of the wicket in time for a comfortable 2 runs. So it takes Chanderpaul to 4 off the 11 balls he's faced. So there's 2 twos, 1 through cover, and then that one just to the offside of the stump. So yes, a sedate start here, but exactly what West Indies fans, or the Dominican fans in particular, would be hoping for from their side. No early wickets. Here's Mohammad Siraj again, bowling to Chanderpaul, and he's just defensively forward, and there's no run.
Andy, I suspect the spinners might be introduced pretty early today. We might see Ashwin and Jadeja coming into the attack pretty early.
Yeah, I think you could be right there. You could be right. Yeah, Ashwin will be very interested to see how much bounce he can get out of this wicket early on. Of course, he bowls from such a great height, and as you mentioned before, 474 Test wickets. Pretty handy batsman as well, 500s.
All against the West Indies.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Here's Chanderpaul working that one off his hip, down to fine leg. Undercut jogs in to pick the ball up, and in fact it's a leg by signalled by umpire Michael Goff. Takes West Indies on to 12 without loss. Ashwin's got 500s and all against the West Indies.
Yes, all against West Indies. I believe all 5 against the West Indies.
So that's sort of a bit like if the West Indies didn't play Ashwin, it would be against West Indies. It would be like England not playing Stuart Broad against David Warner.
Oh yeah, it'd be interesting to see who Warner played in the next Test match. Be very interesting.
Yeah, come back to that. Here's Siraj to the right-handed Craig Brathwaite, and he works that one away down to fine leg. Undercut comes round, and there's one further run. So Brathwaite scoring all his runs behind square so far. He moves on to 7. Yeah, I was thinking about that because Australia's got a good problem to have right now. You've got Warner out of form, but you've got Green, who's coming back from injury, I believe, and of course Marsh did well. So I'd be tempted to put Travis to head up the top of the order in the place of Warner because he's just not scoring any runs.
Well, you know, we've had opening the batting. They're going to be peppering him with short balls, Andy,
Yeah.
because he's not a very good player of the short ball. Although he has survived in the 3 Test matches so far against the short balls.
Here's Siraj once more, and Chanderpaul this time is beaten outside the line of off stump through to keeper Ishan Kishan, and there's no run.
And Mitchell Marsh, I think, is a very good cricketer, Andy. I mean, he had a brilliant century in the first inning of the last Test match, and he bowls decent medium pace. So they have a problem on their hand. I guess it's a good problem to have, where you have 2 all-rounders, himself and Cameron Green, to select from.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you think about Marcus Harris a few years ago, he was out of form, and then Usman Khawaja made hundreds when he came into the side when Head was injured, and then as soon as Head came back, they said, "All right, Khawaja, you can go and open now." And I kind of feel they could do that with, you know, with Travis Head perhaps. Anyway, we should talk about the West Indies. Here is Mohammad Siraj bowling to Chanderpaul, and he just pushes that one into the gap at cover, jogs through for the easiest of singles. He moves on to 5, and it's 14 without loss here at Windsor Park.
And apart from the odd ball that have beaten the batsmen, both batsmen have looked very safe, very comfortable. Siraj have beaten both of them outside the off stump, but I think that both of them have looked very comfortable, both Craig Brathwaite and Chanderpaul. And as I say, West Indies have won the toss. They're looking to bat for the entire day. They need a good start because the middle order, Andy of late, has proven to be a problem. So Brathwaite and Chanderpaul looking to set the foundation for people like young Afadas, who I think will come in at number 4, and Jermaine Blackwood himself.
Here's Undercut, the left arm paceman, bowling to Chanderpaul, who just defends that one up to mid-off, where the captain Rohit Sharma picks the ball up. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, isn't it? Because in the West Indies last series, you had Ramon Reefer batting at 3 and Blackwood batting at 4. I always feel like with a debutant, you should give them a bit more time. So my idea would be for Alec Athanaze to bat at 5, but you know, maybe well, I guess it depends on what he wants to do as well. He is undercut once more, and Chanderpaul is playing that rather streakily through the slips, but along the ground, and he comes back for 2. Where does Athanase normally bat for the Windward Islands?
Number 4. He bats
That's
at 4 for the
okay.
Windward Islands. He bats at 4. Bats
Right.
at 4.
Okay. Oh well. Were you surprised that they didn't play Kirk McKenzie in this match?
Bit surprised, yeah. Young guy who made a double century in the recent Headley Wicks Trophy. Think he's a good prospect. Future with people like him and Athanase and Chanderpaul as well. So I was a bit surprised they didn't play Kirk McKenzie.
Here's undercut once more, and Chanderpaul lets that one go past his outside edge on the offside and through to the keeper and no run. Yeah, I guess the thing there was it was a question of whether they wanted to play two spin bowlers or not, and the fact that they did decide to go with 2 spinners probably forced their hand a little bit, because they don't have a genuine all-rounder in the side, and so to bring in 2 new batsmen. Of course, in the last Test match you had Roston Chase and Kyle Mayers in the side, so losing Mayers, you lose a bowler as well, so I guess they sort of had to pick Old as Chanderpaul beaten once more outside off stump. But yeah, in the last match, of course, you had Roston Chase, who's a bowler as well. You had Kyle Mayers batting below him at number 6, who's also a bowler. So losing both those guys from the squad,
He's shortened the batting.
It's shortened the batting. So that they and then they had to play 2 spinners, and then you've got a specialist keeper and no all-rounders. So their batting does look a little bit.
And
light.
they had to play 5 bowlers as well. Most teams now play 5 bowlers. So it appears that Holder might bat at number 6 and the keeper at 7. So the batting, as you say, is not as strong like when you had people like probably Kyle Mayers and Roston Chase. At least these guys would lengthen the batting.
Here's undercut once more, left arm over the wicket to Chanderpaul, and he's just defending that one up to mid-on where Ashwin does the fielding, and there's no run.
And you know, Andy, Kemar Roach, who has been an outstanding bowler for West Indies, one wondered how long will Kemar Roach continue?
Yeah, I mean, a bit of an ageing attack, isn't it? I mean, you look at Shannon Gabriel, who they're both 35 now. So they're very lucky they've got Joseph coming through, but yeah, it sort of reminds me of, perhaps not of the same calibre, but you know, it's like when Walsh and Ambrose carried on for so long, you know, and then when they leave, they just leave a huge void. Well, the same's going to be the same with Anderson and Broad.
Correct.
Here's undercut, last ball of the 6th over to Chanderpaul, and he plays inside the line. It's through to the keeper. Umpire Richard Kettleborough calls over. It's 16 without loss here at Windsor Park.
Yes, good over from undercut. The only playing in his 3rd Test match, bowling just about off stump. Beat Chanderpaul with a couple of deliveries, but you know that wouldn't bother Chanderpaul. And the player he could do all day. He had the very good temperament. He has a lot of patience, and he's a guy who's prepared to battle it out and fight it out and bat all day long.
Got a question for you, Sebo. Let's just check to see what Pujara's performance was like for Sussex, albeit in the 2nd division of the county championship. Were you surprised he didn't get selected for this tour?
You know, sometimes you wonder how selectors look. Like I was a West Indies selector, as you know. So sometimes selection is a matter of judgment. But sometimes when some of the decisions, you wonder, I mean, this guy has been an outstanding batsman for India, averaging what, 44, 45, 19 or 20 hundreds, and you wonder why would they leave out somebody like that?
Here's Siraj once more bowling to Brathwaite, and that is down the leg side. I don't think, it was a leg bye, and it's run away for 4 leg byes. So Kishan diving away there in desperation more than anything else. But Siraj just straying offline, and it just clipped the thigh pad of Craig Brathwaite and raced away for 4. Yeah, I was just a little bit surprised that he got left out, and you know, I think he's just a player that's played so well for so long. But maybe they've just decided that it's time to go for some younger talent. Here's Brathwaite once more, working that one down to fine leg, where Undercut does the fielding. There's one further run to Brathwaite. He moves on to 8 off 17 balls, and West Indies 21 without loss.
And Andy, when you talk about the bringing younger, but you have Rahane, who was left out for a while. He made 2 good scores, and then he's the vice captain of the team, and then you leave out Pujara. So you wonder sometimes the kind of decisions that are taken.
Yes, indeed. Here's Siraj bowling to Chanderpaul this time. He's just defensively forward to a ball on the line of leg stump, and there's no run.
But again, and it's nice that India could field all these young players. I mean, Yashwal, as we've said earlier, now standing batting average of 82 in 15 innings. The guy has scored what? About 1,500 first-class runs in only 15 matches. So, I mean, they have all these players. Also a guy, Safras Khan, who has made so many hundreds in first-class cricket in India.
Here's Siraj. Over the wicket to left-handed Chanderpaul. This time it's rising slightly, and Chanderpaul's up on his toes and just playing that one into the gully. Just run through the field here. So India has made a little bit of a change to their field. They've got a leg gully at the moment, so no regulation gully. You've got Rahane in the gully, or leg gully I should say, and then the slips are. You've got Jaiswal, the debutant at first slip, Kohli at second slip, Shubman Gill, who's obviously a very promising player in all formats of the match at the moment. Here's Siraj to Chanderpaul once more, and it's through to the wicket keeper.
And Andy, as somebody from New Zealand, I don't want to ask you a question. I know your captain got injured during the IPL in the early stages. What is the status of him in terms of the World Cup coming up in October? Williamson, I'm referring to.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I know he's been through the surgery process, and I saw a video of him on Instagram or somewhere the other day playing cricket in his house with his daughter. So he's definitely swinging a bat. Here's Siraj, last ball of the over to Chanderpaul. And that is the end of the over. It's 21 without loss. That's all from me for the next little while. Andy Carter will be taking my place. It's 21 without loss at Windsor Park.
Yes, another over from Siraj. Slow pitch, and sometimes one wonders why in the Caribbean you have all these slow pitches. I mean, it suits the West Indies right now that the batting, obviously the batting, they're looking to bat all day long. But this pitch looks very, very slow, and I hope we get a result in that game. The captain of the West Indies believes that the pitch is going to spin, hence the reason why they played the 2 spinners. So as I welcome to the microphone, Andy Carter.
Well, good morning to you, Lockhart, and good morning to all listeners via the Cut and Drive Network. Technical support given by Kyrie FM. So the news here at Windsor Park, bright and sunny conditions prevailing, and the West Indies, after having won the toss and decided to bat, they are 21 without loss after 7 overs. And they left out Cook Mackenzie and Shannon Gabriel, the West Indies. And India, on the other hand, they brought in 2 debutants in Jaiswal and Ishan Kishan. Ishan Kishan doing the wicket-keeping work. So it's Unat Katz bowling to Craig Brathwaite, comes across, comfortable in defense, pushes it on the offside. So lovely conditions here. Yesterday it was felt that there would be no play whatsoever, but play beginning right on time. Lovely conditions, and certainly the real test will come when the spinners are introduced.
Oh, definitely. Well, Andy, it looked like a beautiful day. Lovely blue sky, and you look at all the greenery towards the south. And Dominica is just a really beautiful place, Andy Carter.
Indeed, and with the rain, it has certainly brought the place to the greenery, complete greenery, because a few months back it was drought all over and dry patched land, and now it's all green. Unit cards, balls to Brathwaite. Brathwaite is shuffling across, ball goes through his defense, maybe withdrawing the bat at the last moment, and the ball goes through to the wicket keeper.
In fact, the farmers and the about March, April were complaining. We had a lot of heat and people were complaining that they couldn't even go to their farms. But now, and people shouldn't be complaining about the rain, you know. We love the rain. The rain is lovely. As I say, you look at the Botanic Gardens, you look at towards the Loda area, you look at the south, and it's just beautiful, lovely greenery, beautiful, lovely trees towards the gardens. And like I said, Dominica is just a lovely and beautiful place.
Yes, the majestic mountains and good, clean, pure water, as there's a slight lull in the proceedings. And I can tell you that this match is the 6th match, test match I should say, been played here at Windsor Park. The first one was against India on the 6th to the 10th of July 2011, which ended in a draw. Then you had Australia come in 2012. Australia won by 75 runs. And then Zimbabwe came in 2013. The West Indies really walked over them by an innings and 65 runs. Australia came back in 2015, won by 9 wickets. And the last test match we had here in 2017, Pakistan won by 101 runs.
And I've been interested to find out how many wickets Shane Shillingford got in the matches he played. I remember it was against Zimbabwe. He got something like 12 in that game. Australia as well. I knew he had a 6-wicket haul against Australia. So yes, he got a number of wickets here.
Yes, against Zimbabwe he had 5 for 59 and 5 for 34. So 10 wickets against Zimbabwe.